So I'm Nancy Dickey. I am a graduate of the class of 1976 and came to University of Texas Medical School, which was at that point a brand new school. I think I was the second or third graduating class that actually spent our entire 3 years here, and it was a 3-year school. Like most applicants to medical school, I applied to, I think, probably all of the Texas schools at the time. But I had a lot of family in the Houston area, and so it was attractive to come where you knew you had a support system. I was married, and my husband was a teacher and a coach, and so again, the greater Houston area offered a lot of employment opportunities for him. Teachers and coaches, teachers do okay, coaches tend to move around a lot, and so you didn't want to go someplace that there might be the possibility that he worked the first year or two and couldn't get a job other times. So having gotten accepted here, it was a good choice for me. Well, none of the wonders of the McGovern Medical School were here. We did our anatomy training, our anatomy classes at the dental school. That portion of the dental school I don't think continues to exist. It's gone. We were in a place called the Center Pavilion Hotel up on the 13th floor, and they had obviously made plenty of arrangements to have classrooms and that sort of thing. And it was in our, probably the second half of medical school, that the Freeman building opened, which at that point was 2 stories, and we were already in clinical rotation, so it didn't make us a whole lot of difference. But it was fun to start seeing the infrastructure of a school and about already in clinical rotation, so it didn't make. It was, as I said, it was a 3-year school, so we went year-round. Every quarter we would have a break, a week or 10 days, not months. And as we talk about doctor shortages, and we talk about loan costs, it may be something that we want to look at again. That's something that seems to have kind of come and gone over the years. But in 3 years' time, I feel that I got the same education that kids in a 4-year school get. What you miss is some of those experiences if you use your breaks to add elective experience or just experiential opportunities. Those go away because you don't have those extended breaks. But the curriculum is essentially the same. It was a small class. There were only 50 of us in the class, which is wonderful because you know everybody, and you can do things with a class of 50 that's very hard to do with a class of 225. When you sit in the lecture hall, the faculty know who's there and who isn't. And when you do small groups, you only have a need for 6 groups, not dozens of groups. And I think that's an advantage. I recognize the economics don't make that very logical anymore, but it was in fact one of the things that attracted me. A new school gives you the opportunity to begin to help form whatever the traditions are going to be. And I've discovered over the years, I'm not sure I could have articulated it then, that I like being part of new things where you can have some impact. Now, there are lots of people over the years I've interviewed, and as we were starting programs, and I have to say to them, have you got a little pioneer spirit? Because if the first thing you do every time there's a question is say, well, what have they done before? The answer is, I don't know. We haven't done it before. So that attracted me to some degree too. I listened to medical students and maybe even to my colleagues then. Medical school is challenging. It's hard. You're learning a lot of things. You spend a lot of time in school. That's one of the big differences. There was nobody talking about how many hours a week you were allowed to have FaceTime. Okay, nobody was protecting my out of classroom time. And so we often spent 8 hours a day in a classroom kind of experience. But there was also a great deal of time to create lifelong friendships, to do activities in addition to medical school. And maybe that's part of what we should be emphasizing in medical education, and for that matter, nursing and pharmacy and other health professions, is if you so embed yourself and the only thing you do for 4 years is medical school training, then you come out a less well-rounded person. And so helping people recognize that no matter how challenging, no matter how busy whatever life you've chosen is, you also have to be very selfish and carve back some family time, play time, vacation time, whatever you want to call it. Maybe married to somebody totally outside of the medical profession helped me do some of that. What do you mean? That's the only reason I have one, right? It's obviously the key. If you don't have the MD degree, then you don't have any of the options that being a physician opens for you. This particular medical school gave me an opportunity to know, originally as faculty, later as mentors, and eventually as friends, many people who were involved in the profession of medicine, not just practice of medicine. And so many of the people that I credit with encouraging me to be involved in medical organizations, be involved in leadership opportunities, came as a result of being here at UT Houston. Oh, absolutely. I can't remember which parts of the school are named for C. Frank Weber, but Frank Weber was the chair of the Department of Family Medicine when I selected family medicine, and eventually a dear friend. And we worked together in the American Medical Association, the Texas Medical Association. Harold Prusner was a faculty member for many years and ultimately ended up practicing up near College Station, I think retiring up near College Station, but was then present for us to call upon as I moved to Texas A&M Academics. Sam Nixon, you have to go back a long way, but Sam left private practice, having done decades of private practice, and came to UT Houston with a lifetime of experience of what it meant, not just to him, although he was passionate, but he'd been the Speaker of the House of the Academy of Family Physicians. He knew family docs all over the country and could talk about urban family practice and rural family practice and group family practice. And all those people were extraordinarily approachable. You could sit down and talk to them. When you're a student, you want somebody you can sit down and share your concerns with. Later, it may be someone who's either encouraging you to do something, as they all did, or who ultimately become colleagues. And that's a compliment to them that they were able to do that, that I was able to consider all of them friends. Wow. It is an extraordinary 50 years when you consider where we started. And at the same time, it has, I think, maintained a fair amount of its original mission and vision, which can be a challenge when you're sitting in the middle of the Texas Medical Center. Part of coming here was the commitment to primary care. I think when I came, I probably knew I wanted to go to a small town and practice medicine. I don't know that I knew specialties enough. I didn't have anybody in medicine in my family. But certainly, as I interviewed, you could feel the different philosophies of medical schools. And I'm proud of the fact that we have a very strong Department of Family Medicine at McGovern, and that we have managed to maintain that despite living right in the middle of, kind of the biggest medical world in the world. I get to interface with UT med students periodically. Some of them we recruit into A&M residency programs, and they come out with a strong education. Having done all of that, you've also managed to do that which academic medicine is expected to do, which build a tremendously rich research portfolio in a variety of places. So the buildings are the first thing that strike you. This is not the Center Pavilion, okay? But as you read the materials, come and visit the people who are here, makes me very proud to be a graduate of McGovern.